Hey guys, alright, so this week I'm going to talk about the idea of like a single story and how that it comes into play a lot throughout the ideas of like Fromm and how like people are so embedded with one idea of like what's their norm and one idea of like what life really is, and how one story is like such a dangerous thing, and it's like you can put it into really simple words or you can make it as complex as you want. But we watched the video in class this week of an African lady telling her story about how we have like one story of Africa, and like when we think about Africa, like what do we think of? And we tend to think of those like dirt villages and uneducated people and like deprivation of water, and like there's just so many stereotypes that come along with it. And this lady was like beyond educated and so intelligent, and she was truly awesome. And she was so right. It's like such a simple thing, but like when you think about like little villages, like that's what you think of. They sleep in huts with a dirt floor and they have no running water. And for a lot of Africa, that may be a true statement, but that's not necessarily true for everybody. And she came over here and she found herself, even when she's the one that's aware of falling, like what the dangers are of falling into like one story, and even her herself fell into believing one story. It's just like every time you see a Mexican, if you were just like, oh, they're like an illegal immigrant, like you don't know if they're an illegal immigrant, but that's what you think because that's what's been ingrained into your head. And the dangers of having one story is you become really ignorant, and ignorance, although some people believe ignorance is bliss, ignorance a lot of times is just more dangerous, especially to the rest of the world, because you don't care enough about the effect that it has on the rest of the world. And all the world needs to be a better place is compassion, but compassion comes with being aware and opening up to everything around you. And it's really dangerous when people get so used to one story that they live. And when that happens, it's not even like they're aware that it happens. It becomes what you do. And you wake up and you comb your hair and you brush your teeth and you put on your makeup all in one order, and it's never any different because that's your story, that's what you do. And until something comes and attacks that story, you never notice that that is your story. And that's a really big problem. And until people start to realize that they can't just have one story that becomes or defines them, there's going to be a lot of issues, whether it's only destroying their life or destroying the lives around them. But it's being ignorant towards what your life really is, and like what makes up you and what affects you, because you don't really know what affects you if you're only blocking out or blocking in whatever you actually want to know. So the idea of a single story is a really powerful idea. And like I said, you can take it as simple as just thinking of people in Africa, or you can make it about like the things that define you. Like, what you think defines yourself? Is that your single story? Is that what you believe defines you, or is that what really defines you? And then it becomes a whole bigger picture. So I just thought it was a really interesting thing to think about, and I think you should all think about it, because really I think it could have a big impact on how people treat each other and how people act in everyday life and so forth and so on. So, alright, well, have a great week.